Hi guys, today we will be discussing a topic which is ULIP investment versus mutual fund. Now ULIP is basically nothing but investing in market, like just like how you would invest in a mutual fund like Tarak Parik, like CAP, etc. But under a life insurance fund management, like HDFC Life or Axis Max. Before it was Max Life, now it's Axis Max, etc., etc. Now the question comes, the main USP or the unique selling point for a ULIP is, see, it gives you tax benefits, right? And I'll show you how they justify it and whether it's actually worth investing in ULIP or not. And if so, what are the benefits here? Shall we? Okay. Fine. I'll talk about both disadvantage and advantage. And by the way, I also invest in ULIP in very small amounts, and it's not for the reason you're thinking. It's not for returns, but more for a fiscal discipline. And I'll come to that. I've also written a Quora question on the same, but let me give you a better uh, analogy of how it works. So the assumption is, let's say you invest 2.5 lakh and that future value after 10 years will become 10 lakh 11,000. Now, as we all know, tax law in India, LTCG, this particular profit is subject to LTCG, long-term capital gains greater than 1 year of 12.5%. If it's lesser than 125,000 in a particular financial year, then it's zero, or else it will be 12.5%, which it comes to be. So we will start with our first. Now, what is this on the right? I'll come to that. This is basically when an individual is investing in the same way. So this I've assumed. So in a policy like ULIP, you have multiple options, right? One is to do yearly, monthly, quarterly, blah blah blah, and one is to do one-time payment. You just one-time pay it and forget your money. After 5 years, you can remove the money by law, but I have assumed this policy to be 10 years. And I'm assuming that you'll surrender after 10 years only after taking good gains. And I've assumed the rate of return to be 15%. Now, why I have taken 15 and not more? I'll explain everything. And here I've assumed that you put your money in Nifty 50 or Nifty 100 index fund with some expense ratio, etc., to a mutual fund directly, and you make your money. Okay. Hmm. So now a very big assumptions which ULIP investors or rather people who sell ULIP make is that you just will once invest the money and directly remove it. And you'll not do the concept of tax harvesting. But if you're in this channel, I hope that you are well aware with the concept of tax harvesting every year. Because the LTCG limit which you get is yearly. Now I know it's a big headache. It's a in Hindi we call it chanjat, magajmari, whatever you say. But क्या करें? We'll have to do it, right? To save money. So let's say you have now, I'm assuming that you have 2.5. You don't want to invest anything else, just this money. This I saved in a year. I made good money. Now I'm not making. I'm barely making my needs met. So let's say you have 2.5 lakh here. You went till 2.87 here with every year, right? And then you do tax harvesting. It becomes zero here. Then next year you do this. This becomes this, right? Just a diagonal equation. Again, zero, 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 zero till the very 10th year where you just pay 865. So you're only saving 865 rupees, not this inflated amount which they show. More than that, what you have to pay in a ULIP is policy, administration charges, mortality charges, which is basically on your lifespan. The older you are, the more you pay, I think, and miscellaneous. There'll always be miscellaneous. Now, not many nowadays. Many policies have reduced this to almost zero, but a good portion of them have 3 to 5% charge. Sorry, I did a dollar sign. It should be a percent sign around this, right? And let me just make this a little better. Yeah, 3 to 5%. That's a huge number. But one benefit is, again, even the mutual fund like Parik or many other mutual funds actually have active investors, active managers, and this is an active policy. Nowadays, to compete in this competitive environment, even your life insurance policies are keeping active managers. They no longer deal with passive, and there are multiple funds to deal with, and strategy and all. There are many benefits. For example, you can change the strategy. You can shift all your money to a debt fund, which is very secure, guaranteed returns, and still be tax free. I mean, there are many ways. If you want, I can make certain videos on that. So those all things are actually tax free. But, but, uh, because fund houses are hiring these managers just for the purpose of mutual fund, of course, it will be more concentrated and focused, which is why they are able to generate 18 to 20. So when I'm taking 15 here, I'm cutting this policy charge from it. Of course, most of the websites, when you see the return, by law, I mean, whether it's real or not is another question, but mostly it is, they have to, by the way, put the returns after subtracting all the charges. Even in a mutual fund website, it's after the expense ratio is subtracted on a daily basis, they give you the analyzed returns, right? Fine, good. So 3 to 5% though, I'm assuming, then you're making 15, and then this is the D. Okay. So then if this is the scenario for a one-time investment, then there's no much benefit, right? I mean, well, the benefit is, of course, you get some sort of life cover. For example, in this case, if you put 2.5 lakh, generally you get a 25 lakh insurance. Of course, for a very cheap premium, you can get 50 lakh or 1 crore CR, which I do. I have made a video on that also, term insurance and life insurance, health insurance. You should have that. But this also is like an added benefit, I would say, yeah, to some extent. And more importantly, it gives you something on the fiscal discipline. Because see, if let's say here on the third year, when you had 3,30,625, assuming you want to buy two iPhone 15 Pro for your dear one and yourself, right? We all know who the dear one is, but let's say you want to do that, or let's say you want to buy some gold for yourself, if if you want to feel pretty for women or men or whatever it is. And if men want to probably buy a car or Royal Enfield or something like that, right? Royal Enfield, if I'm not wrong, which is that model which I like. Inceptor. I don't know, but that's very expensive. I think that's around 8 lakh, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, somewhere around that. So you'll just spend it off because it's very easily redeemable. Here, because you know it's blocked, then you can't do anything. At least 5 years you have to wait, or even more, you have to surrender the policy, which is a big headache. So you will keep in control. You will not spend the money. So fiscal discipline is actually a good point, I would say, which it instills in you. But from the point of view of return, see, the final value will not change either way. And the tax liability which you save will be less than $1,000, not even $1,000. So $1,000 is what you're saving, right? And that also $1,000, I'm pretty sure when you remove the money, there'll be some charges, so it'll be net zero. So don't think there's much benefit. Is there loss? Before, yes, before this amount used to be very high, but now most of the policy people know that investors have not become dumb, and they do see each and every. They make sure that the penny is not wasted. So they have reduced this. Now it has become 2 to 3% rather. And for example, one of the ULIP, I have two ULIPs. One of the ULIPs which I have has zero charges, so zero policy administration charges, zero miscellaneous charges, only mortality charges, which is hardly anything, probably not even 1%. So it gives a good return, right? But then there must be some benefit, right? Otherwise, nobody would be investing in ULIP. Right? Well, there is one. Just a second. Right. So we will go to the sheet